Okay guys, welcome back to my channel, and today it will be not popular because I will be talking a little bit about the old style 737 classics. That means that I don't know, I have IXEG, but there are many third parties companies which are made classics for different platforms. But so far, the IXEG I found the best solution in Explain 11. So this will be a really simple and very simple and explanation of the difference between classics and NGs. Okay, and because I would like to tell you or teach you what is important in order to fly this old style airplane. And as we can know, the classics are divided into the three main let's say variants. Okay, the first variant is 300, the second variant is 400, and then it is 500. Probably you will ask yourself, okay, 300 the less passengers, 400 more, 500 the most passengers on board. No, it's not true. Okay, the 500 is the smaller, the 300 is much bigger, and 400 is the biggest of this fleet. Okay, we in our company, once we've got a classic 400, we've got special training because this airplane, Boeing 737-400, has I would like to say it it is a special airplane in which you have keep some rules regarding to the takeoff and regarding to the landing. Okay, and what are these rules about? It was 1 hour of flight training. Okay, it was just the ground training, but anyway, first of all, you must remember that this airplane, it's the longest, and this airplane, I'm not talking about NG 900. Okay, this airplane, it's most critical to tail strike. So your rotation speed should be very smooth and very careful, and once you are landing, you have to keep the basically the lowest possible angle of attack and close the thrust levers at 10 feet array. Okay, otherwise you are in problems. If you look at the airplane from the outside, you see that the wing is much more not thin, but it's much more thick. Okay, so so this is the main difference. Okay, the wing. We have the engines are basically the same, but there is one difference, that there is CFM -3 engines, and those engines are less powerful. That's why if you are operating 400 within some route operations, you must always do unpressurized takeoff or no bleed takeoff and so on. So we can be here for plenty of hours to make the to let's say to talk about the differences, but as you can see, except the wing and the engines, like I told you before, the this probe heat in classics is pitot static, okay, system. It's really close to the doors. So always when you are arriving to the gate or the stairs are arriving, and when you're performing the walk around, always check if it doesn't hit the pitot static, okay. So alpha vane and pitot port, and this is the total temperature measuring sensor, okay. So basically I will talk much more about the differences which are important, and I am not going deep into detail, don't worry, okay. So let's jump to the cockpit. And within the cockpit, basically if you are trained on classics and you are going to NG, you have 4 hours of difference training, okay, with additional 4 hours of checking, okay. And that the same procedure applied when you are going from NG to have volley type rating into the classics. Sometimes these airplanes are called AFIS because this is AIDA, so that means electronic attitude display, and this is AGSI, okay, horizontal display. These are CRT, so it's not LED, it's CRT, okay. So the most common failure is that the CRT is completely broken, so yeah, basically you have no checklist on QRH on this. In this case, after landing, there somebody goes to the eBay compartment and reset it, and it will works again. But anyway, that's okay. So the first of all, let's go to the overhead panel, okay. As you can see on the overhead panel, we have basically it's the same as on NG, okay. You have battery, you have transformer rectifiers. When you press the battery, okay, you've got the battery. I will put the sound off, okay. We'll see if it works or if not works. Okay, I don't know if you hear something or no. I don't know why this sound is presented, because it shouldn't be right over here. So but let's try to solve the situation. Okay, now I solve the situation. So basically there is not much difference. You can see all the DC related, it's right here. It's not digital, it's with the needles, okay. AC is right over here. What is the difference? It's not cabin utility, but it's galley power, okay. So this is one difference. Be aware of the fact that there are a bunch of the options on the classics, okay. So I flew the classics. When I pressed the battery, the standby power off wasn't illuminated. So this is maybe some kind of any other option, but anyway. We have generator drives with low pressure, okay, and high oil temperature. Basically it's the same. You can see that the generators provides the amperes over here, and this is the generator drive oil temperature, and it should be maximum approximately 150 degrees of centigrade, okay. So if you look here, there is missing spar valve, okay, because there is a little bit different fuel schematics of this airplane, okay, but everything's it's basically the same. And what else? Okay, the EGT, for example, the EGT has on APU, EGT on APU has the different limitations regarding to maximum EGT, okay, and then you can see the voltage right over here. So basically, if it is okay, you can connect it and without any problems. So we'll start the APU, okay. Put the fuel pumps in order to extend the life of the APU, and now we can see what happens, okay. Remember, there are a bunch of the options, so if I explain something wrong, it's because it should be another option that I would get used to fly, okay. So now you can see the numbers, okay. So Egt limitations is different. Well, we can go into the overhead panel. This is the standard procedure. So if it is off, that means that it's not energizing it's energizing the but it's not overheated, okay, window heat. And now you can see in 737 NG we have a probe heat, and now we have pitot static, okay. So there's the difference, okay. If you scroll down, basically if you look at the overhead panel and hydraulic panel, it looks like the same. But if you are performing the pushback, you can press these fuel pumps into off position. So hydraulic pumps should be off. It's because yes, when you install the gear pin into the nozzle steering, you will remove the hydraulic A pressure. That's fine, that's okay. But in these airplanes, they are unreliable. So that means that if you completely stop all your hydraulics, there are no fluctuation, and you will avoid to damage your nozzle steering, okay. And the same applies, for example, for generators, okay. So now it doesn't showing nothing because we have only APU, but if we put the generators on bus, you need to check the voltage, because if the voltage is different from your limitation, that means that something will be wrong on flight, okay. So yeah, come back. Okay, here as you can see, we have only one wiper. Some classics has two wipers, and here is the off position, okay. On NG it's only park position, okay, so there is the difference. What the next? Basically the temperature controller is the same as the NG, all is the same. We have to know the limitations, okay, and the limitations of classics are approximately 8.6 of delta psi, okay. On NG it can rise up to 9, okay. And now the difference is with the landing panel. pressurization panel. Here you put your flight desired flight altitude. Here you put the landing altitude on your airport, and here you put cabin altitude. What does it mean, the cabin altitude? It's really a bit confused. But for example, if I would like to let at the Prague airport, or let's say Amsterdam airport, okay? And Amsterdam airport is approximately at the sea level. So I will put 0 over here. And on cabin altitude, always you have to put minus 200 feet. That means that we are going here and put the minus and minus 200. Okay, and now you are good to go. Basically, you have the same procedures: auto, standby, AC manually, and DC manually in order to operate the outflow valve in case of some problems with pressurization and you have to put it manually. Okay, and we have one additional switch here, is flight and ground switch. Okay, always when you are landing, put it on the ground. That means that the airplane will depressurize the airplane with the proper way. Within the flight mode, he will pressurize the airplane a little bit below your altitude in order to comfort the passengers and go up. So don't forget about this switch. Okay, so if you are taxiing, you put it into the flight mode. If you are leaving the runway, put it into the ground mode. These lights are basically the same, everything is same. What is different is this, and as you can see, we have position light and we have position light on battery or on. Okay, it has something in common with the electrical schematics, but we'll always put it into the on position. Okay, on battery position are using in some circumstances. I will not talk about it. Okay, and we have separate strobe lights. Okay, that's it. You can see the innob light, and if we are going up like here, okay, so there is basically the same situation. Okay, I will maybe this was the sound because I forget to switch off the IRSs. Okay, leading edge devices, service interphone, dome light, IRSs is basically the same. Flight recorder, ELT switch should be somewhere over here. Crew oxygen is as well the same. What is the difference right now? Right now, the difference is that Classics is using not EEC but PMC, and PMC means Power Management Control Unit. Okay. Basically, for you, I will not go into the deep details. It's the same as the EEC mode. Okay, it's basically the same. And okay, so we have discussed the overhead panel, and right now here is one thing. I don't know if it is modeled on IXEG. Yeah, well, it's not modeled. It's modeled. You can see this valve. You have to put it clockwise in order to have the pressure for the crew oxygen. So if you forget about the switch and suddenly you lose your you have decompression, you are in big trouble because there are no airflow into the mask position. Okay, so basically all the things are the same. One difference on the overhead panel is that as you can see, indicated airspeed and Mach window, you can go down in NG to 100 and on classics on 110. Okay, so that's the difference. And there is missing AFIS panel, and it's basically somewhere else. Okay, but okay, so let's jump here. Okay, here you can see that the things are basically the same. Okay, except that you have altitude indicator only here. Airspeed indicator you have as well on AIDA panel, and as well you have this classic indicated airspeed indicator, but here you are adjusting your baro settings, and this is your minimums. Okay, so with this knob and this yellow bug you set up the minimums. Okay, and as you can see on the airspeed indicator you have the so-called speed bugs. Okay, so and it depends on your weight. Okay, and for example, we have 54 tons of takeoff weight, of gross weight, so that means that our clean configuration will be 200. Okay, so like this one. Okay, and here you put the speed bugs like V1 rotate, V2 plus 15. Okay, one is going to 80 and one is going to minimum clean configuration speed, which is 200. Okay, and here we adjust like in NG the V2, so takeoff safety speeds. So basically that's it. Okay, so and now go to the FMC. What is important right here on FMC? It's really important that what is your actual trust rating and what software you have. Because I see on IXEG, but it's a fail from my side. It offers you to make RMP approach. To make RMP approach, it's impossible unless you have GPS installed. Okay, in classics, and you have proper software in order to make these waypoints workable. So that's it. But basically the basic idea of the FMC is the same. And now if you look at the engine instruments, what is important in NG, you have always refill indications if you have low hydraulic quantity or low engine quantity. Okay, and now you have to let's say know by yourself that, for example, engine oil quality should be 88% and hydraulic quantity 76%. Okay, it differs from airplane to airplane, and as you can see, this is the fuel used switch. So as you can see, I will shut down the engines and I will burn 60 kilograms. Okay, and this small switch, it's to reset the fuel. It's really very small, and we made it in real life with a pencil. Okay, it's because in order to let's say avoid unpleasant situation with NGs, that you put the wrong switch on the wrong side. and basically the engine instruments has as well the limitations which are basically the difference. Maximum continuous thrust is different, EGTs are different, start sequence and start attempts between the sequence are different. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I see here some discrepancies which I'm not comfortable with it, but anyway, I will leave it like this. I will not discuss. This switch is decision height, so that means that it has something in common with low visibility procedure and auto length. So you adjust it and put the decision height only if you are making auto length. Okay, so and you can put the decision height, for example, for cut 2 100, for cut 3 50 feet. Okay, but if you are within pre-flight procedure, you have to put it into -20 in order to get rid of the wrong callout after departure. And this is the AFIS panel, which is basically on NG right now. Okay, range mode, this is the map mode. Okay, so as you can see right now, basically that's it. What you have to do is, for example, if I would like to press the weather radar, I put it like now, but I need to switch it on here and adjust the tilt antenna here. But as I said before, there are plenty of options which looks completely different. Okay, for example, I flew only the classics which don't have this navigation panel. This navigation panel was adjusted with auto and manual. So if you have it in auto, that means that your AirNav navigation it's adjusting your position from VOR, DME sources, and so on. When you press manual, it's the only situation when you press manual when you are capturing the glide slope. Sorry, localizer and then glide slope. Okay, that means that manual and now settings. I will find the picture for you. Okay, so basically that's it. Auto brakes are a little bit different configuration, but the basic idea is the same. Okay, and yeah, I think that's it. And what else to say? Emergency safety equipment should be according to EASA ops as well. And this is the waypoints, airports, and so on, like in NG, but you have it right here. Okay, so when I was flying NGs for a long time and then I switched to classics, I was always going here, but then I forget and I need to go there. And when I was flying a long time classics, I will always finding the map mode right here. Okay, so it's the habit, okay, of the airplane. Okay, so now we are going to some things which are, for example, within the limitation. And as you can see on the limitation right now, you can see the flaps limit is 230 knots. Well, now Boeing make a change, and they found that it is okay when you have here up to flaps 5 250 as well as for the NG. Okay, so this is the difference. What is ongoing right now, and the difference with the previous version of the classics. Okay, they found that the structural limitation of the flaps are a little bit higher, so they adjust it. So now you can extend the flaps one below your 250 knots. Okay, so this is one thing. Regarding to the limitations, we have 10 knots of tailwinds, except Boeing 737 has 50 knots, okay, of tailwind. I'm logging as observer, so somebody is going to override me. It's okay. So it's 10 knots of tailwind. But same procedure applied for the classics as well as for the NG. Some NGs as well the limitations 10 knots. Okay, but basically the engine tailwind component is 50 knots. On classics it's 10 knots. Okay. Turbulent penetration airspeed is something which slightly differs. So if you're up to conversion to 80, okay. So this will be your turbulent penetration airspeed. When you're on conversion, it's Mach 0.73 and NG is Mach 0.76, okay. So Mach 0.73 is maximum with turbulent penetration airspeed. There are some operation limitations near the polar region, which I will not discuss. And maximum operating altitude with this airplane is 3,700 feet. Okay. And yeah, well, there are some limitations with altimeters I will not discuss. Crosswind component is a little bit higher. It's 35 knots. Why? Because we don't have the winglets. Okay. If we have winglets, the limitations will be a little bit slightly different. Okay. Regarding to the weights, it depends on variant. You have 300, 400, seating capacity, and so on. So basically that's it. And maybe would I to point out, if you are busy, autopilot engagement, it's 1000 feet about the ground level, so RA, radio altitude. Okay, so 1000 feet. Do not mess it with NG, it has 400 feet. This has 1000 feet. Okay, but basically everything is the same. As I said before, the engine oil and so on, but we are going deeply into the details, and it doesn't make sense. Regarding to the APU, within the classics we have APU, Sandstorm and Garrett, and those APUs are very it's or let's say like this one, are not so powerful. What does it mean they are not so powerful? It means that APU electrical load can be up to, regarding to the Garrett and Sandstorm, up to 35,000 feet or 37,000 feet. Okay, it depends on your airplane which you have on the board. there are as well fuel limitations and hydraulic limitations, center tank fuel limitations, and so on and so on. So uh, mm, basically we go through all it, and there is one thing I would like to point out. As the APU is not so powerful, so we are making the procedures in order to get the fresh air into the cabin via this way. We put APU on bleed, we'll leave out isolation valve to auto and one pack switch to off position. Okay, so APU is available to keep the bleed within let's say proper way with only one pack. Okay, so as I said before, there are plenty of options. There are variants 300, 400, 500, and within these options we can talk too much regarding to the let's say limitations on contaminated runways and so on and so on. So yeah, basically that's it. And what else to say regarding to limitations? For example, we've got last company I flew, we got 400s. Okay, and the limitations was for example, maximum oil temperature was 165 on the engine. Okay, maximum EGT 895. Okay, some classics has the problem that if you are encountering the for example icing conditions, you have to put the engine start switches into the flight position, put it like here now, and keep the thrust manually within 45%. So this is like an example. Okay, so it really depends which option of classic you have. So yeah, basically that's it. And as I said before, there are too many options and too many variants, but basic idea is to know your limitation. Okay, if your classics has the maximum certified altitude 3,700 feet, but APU is available, for example, you have older APU and you can put it on bus within 35,000 feet of altitude. Okay, it's not going up to max altitude. So yeah, basically that's all. The flap settings are basically the same. Some classics don't have the terrain inhibit switch. Okay, it means that this classic has GPWS enhance, so he should has the GPS. But as I said before, if this classic have the GPS, we have to find at least one light, GPS light right over here, in order to perform the RMP approaches. Otherwise, we are not allowed to do so. Okay. So another point of view. Basically that's the same. That's okay. So I hope you liked this video, and if you have any questions regarding to the classics, just let me know, and we may discuss what's going on. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time soon. So have a safe landings and stay healthy. Goodbye.